up, YouTube is up. Looks like we're all here, all present and accounted for. That's what I wanted. So now that we're all present and accounted for, you know what to do. Before I even tell you who I am, now I'm going to tell you who I am. Justin R. Harris here. You're on the business management series of the playlist. And here we're following the Daily Drucker. We talk about this all the time with solving business scenarios even before it becomes an issue for you. Maybe you're just ahead of the game. You're trying to sharpen your skills. That's what the point of this is. You're getting the golden nugget from it. I always call it the golden nugget. You pull something from it that you're going to apply to what it is you do. And at the same time, you're going to go over to my YouTube side and like, subscribe, and follow, do all that great stuff on all the platforms that I need you to do it on. And then we can get started. You know what we got to get started with. So everything's great, and I'm glad you're all started with what you're doing with your business. And unfortunately, now you have a threat to your strategy. And that's what we want to avoid. I'm glad it's all gravy for you. And here's the threat. I'm going to tell you the threat. Before I tell you the threat, I'm going to tell you why there's a threat to the threat. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's just jump right in. According to what Peter Drucker's talking about, he explains the big issue here that you have to be aware of when you're moving forward with your specialty niche and everything that we've spoken about as we've gotten up to this point. And this is the 100th episode of this playlist. So jump in, go backwards. You got 99 to catch up with if you're just jumping in today. Here's what it is. So what he says is what all niche strategies have in common is that they are unlikely to endure forever, right? So you have your one niche and it's not going to last forever. As a matter of fact, nothing lasts forever, right? So he goes on to say one threat, this is the threat, is for the niche to be outflanked, and especially by technological change. Another threat that you have to be really careful with is a niche becomes the main mass market, okay? What he says here is that's what happened to Traveler's Check. We talked about Traveler's Checks, okay? And what he says here is before World War II, European trip for Americans was still the rare exception. Okay, now the transatlantic jets carry more passengers in 2 days between Europe and the U.S. than all the steamships carried the entire year before that, right? All right, so what he says is the new mass traveler uses a credit card now. Okay, so when the automobile market became a mass market, now he's talking about the other one. So before I move forward, went from the traveler's check to a credit card. Chop that right down, right? Thought they were good. They were good for a small window. Traveler's check still continued for a while, but as you can see, that's not what they stuck with, okay? Had to make sure my audio wasn't doing something froggy here. Sometimes you get feedback, and I have to make sure we're good. I don't want that feedback, right? I want your feedback. All right, here we go. So he also explains that with the automobile market, okay, was the mass market in the U.S. during World War I and in Europe and in Japan after World War II, the intense pressure to cut costs meant that to be able to be a niche supplier, depending on a specialty skill, ceased to yield for niche products. These players were the ones, and still are, on which the automobile companies put the greatest pressure to cut prices, so they had no choice but to yield. So they held on. So that was the smart play. That's what I was telling you about. You know the name brand, but who's making the seats, right? So here's the action point to keep it short and sweet and where you need to pay attention. Here's the answer to how you prevent the threat. He goes, evaluate the threats of obsolescence to any of your products, process, and or services. Maintain a systematic program of innovation to offset inevitable threats to the products and services of your enterprise. There it is. That's it in a nutshell. That's how you stay on top of the game. And this is where I explain to you that you want to remain sharp. Keep reading. Read every day. Stay on the cutting edge. Be innovative. Be a visionary. Stay on top of your game and go make that money. See you tomorrow.